2, 1. Oh, let's go, people. Here we go. Start of the show. What's up, everyone? Welcome to the Derek O'Shea Show. Joe Rogan's in the news, censorship. But what are my thoughts on that? Let's get into that as well. Masks updates in places like New Jersey, but people are still freaking out about that. Olympic updates and much, much more. Let's get into it on the Derek O'Shea Show. Welcome to the Derek O'Shea Show, where we discuss culture, news, politics, and more. Sit back, relax, and I hope you enjoy the show. Be sure to tell your friends and family about the revolution. What's up, guys? Welcome to the Derek O'Shea Show. Thank you guys for taking time out of your day to hang out with me. It means so much to me that you do. Honestly does. And I've been listening to my audio version lately just to see how it sounds, and I'm gonna try to make this podcast more audio version friendly, and I hope you guys enjoy that aspect of what I bring to the table. If you want to support my show, you go to buymeacoffee.com/Derek O'Shea Show. The link is in the bio description. I would greatly appreciate it. Also, share this on all your friends and family. Like, share, subscribe, all that stuff. Let's get into the news, though. Joe Rogan's in the news, and I'm not going to just hash out everything that literally everyone and their mom has already been talking about, because what is the point? I just get so bored of the same podcasts where they just do the same thing. Let's just be real. There, a lot of people are just spitting the same stuff out. But I want to give you my opinion of what goes on with Joe Rogan. See, the whole Joe Rogan thing, when I think about it, when I deep down think about it in my heart, is that much of online relationships, much of the online community, especially when you're a content creator, is, in the most part, a bit of an abusive relationship. We're not really friends. We don't really know each other. We people like their content. You might like my content. You might like other people's content, but we don't know each other. You don't see me face to face. There's a screen between me and you. There's a chat box between me and you. We're not friends. We're not close relatives. We're not. So when I screw up, when I say something dumb, and it's bound to happen because I know myself and I do this live show. That's why people don't do live shows, because they are afraid of what they'll say. But I feel like I have a mind of my own, to the point where I'm like, you know what? I know what I should say and what I shouldn't say. And I'm going to think about that more. So, but here's the problem. All right. With so much of what goes on with the mob, especially when they can smell blood in the water, is that so much of this relationship between you and me and between content creators and people like Joe Rogan and his audience is that it's a bit of an abusive relationship. And the people that are trying to take Joe Rogan down don't really care for him. They've never listened to his podcast, nor why would they? Because they hate him with all their heart, soul, and mind. So they hate him so much so that they want to destroy him. And they'll take clips that are completely out of context, which is such a big thing. You know, the Daily Show got famous of that, taking clips out of context to make people look bad and make people laugh and stuff like that. And to the point where people were like, oh, this must be true because it's a clip. It's completely what's up, Zane? This clip is completely taken out of context, so therefore I can just say whatever I want about this person. So much of it is an abusive relationship. So if you apologize to someone who is abusive to you, they don't let up. They continue. They smell the weakness. They can feel the weakness, and then they pour on more. That's why when Joe Rogan first apologized, they felt like they had power over him. The abuser felt the power, so they continued. They'll continue until he's completely gone. And every time he apologized, they feel a little bit better about themselves, and they hit him again with something new. Are you going to apologize to this? Boom. How do you feel about that? I'm sorry. It's just like when I say abusive, I mean, it's like, why are you hitting yourself? Why are you hitting yourself? This relationship isn't healthy. There's nothing healthy about this. There's nothing healthy, even if Joe Rogan is in the wrong, coming out and apologizing to people who don't even know him. And people are always pretending like, I'm so offended, even though you weren't part of the conversation. You don't know the person. And so that's why it's another aspect of how an abuser acts. I can't believe you made me hit you. I can't believe you made me show this clip. I can't believe I have to do this in order to destroy you because I don't care about you as a human being. I don't care. I'm not here for reconciliation. I'm not here for forgiveness. I'm not here to make you feel better. I'm not here to make you actually see your wrongs and maybe change your ways. I want to destroy you so much so the more you apologize, the more you consent to me doing whatever I want to you, the more I'm going to continue to hit you until you're gone. And that's why Joe should never apologize. It's not like, is he right or is he wrong? I think this argument of this double standardness is just so silly. It's abusive. They don't care. They don't care that you're a human being. They don't care that you mess up. They don't care about you, period. And they do whatever it takes in order for them to feel this little fraction of power, this little fraction of, oh, I feel better about myself because I destroy this human being online over the weekend. It feels so good. I love shit posting. I don't care about my life. I don't care about their life. I just want them to make them feel bad, and I want to have a moment where I laugh. It's an abusive relationship at its core. There's no reconciliation. There's no honesty. There's no truth. There's no love, because with love or relationships or with friendships or just seeing another person as a human being and being empathetic towards another human being, if someone messes up, you look at them in the face and you go, I get it, man. I apologize. I shouldn't have said that. And for that, we're going to continue to move. I think Joe Rogan is part of the generation, the older generation of people that think that if you apologize, you come out and you say these things, that people are actually going to forgive you and they're going to move on. That's not how the mob works online. The more you apologize, the more they feel stronger. It's like Thanos. It's like putting on his rings. It's like, oh, yes, keep apologizing. I'm going to keep hitting you where it hurts. Yes, keep apologizing. I don't care about you and you don't care about me, but I want to destroy your career because my life is miserable, so much so that my life depends on destroying your livelihood and how your means of production. That's why the whole cancel culture thing is so stupid. There's no reconciliation. There's no forgiveness. There's no growing in this cancel culture crap. It is destroy or be destroyed. I want to take you down. I want to mock you. I want to ridicule you. I want to destroy your livelihood. I want to make you hurt on the inside. I don't care if it means that you will no longer be able to feed your family. That's why people are firing people over stupid offenses constantly. Oh my God, you like that post? You listen to who? Your life is done. Oh, you're struggling to pay rent now because you lost your job over liking a post or over posting something that we could have just had a conversation about, or maybe don't post that or something like that. They don't care. They don't care about you. They don't care about themselves because most of these people are hiding behind a fake name, fake face, fake user. That's why when you look at the when you look at the mob, the online social media mob, you just ignore it. It drives them nuts. But this is the only way to come about. If somebody was actually offended by something Joe Rogan said, if somebody was actually offended by something I said, call me out. We'll have a conversation, maybe on Zoom or like in real life. You can only apologize to people you offend in real life anyways. Because those people know you. Why are you apologizing to people that A, don't give a crap about you, want to destroy you, and also that don't know you, don't listen to you? All the clips that they're playing are from podcasts years and years ago. It was not a problem then. It's a problem now because Joe Rogan is a voice of reason. He's a voice of freedom of speech. And they don't like that. They don't like the fact that he said things like, I would vote for Trump because Biden is useless, or what, he doesn't like Biden. They don't care. They hear these things. If you're not on their side, that's why people like Justin Trudeau can go around and blackface all he wants. Robert Northam, that governor can do it too. Jimmy Kimmel can do it too. As long as you speak rightly, as long as The Rock can come out and talk about trans people in whatever ways he wants, and he can also do his little Chinese accent, it's okay for them because they fit the mold. They follow the lead. They submit to the powers that be. Joe Rogan is a comedian and a comedian at heart, and the comedian at heart looks at everything and calls BS or sees a double standard or mocks the elites, and they hate that. Because with comedy, you can't have an argument about comedy, because if something's funny, it's funny. It's it's in a natural way of expressing emotion. That's why they hate him. That's why they want to destroy them. That's why they don't care. He can apologize all he wants. They're going to continue, and they're not going to stop until he's completely taken off Spotify. But it's so stupid, because we need to get back to a country where we can have a conversation with one another and disagree, or maybe say things that are stupid, because we're not perfect human beings. And also, things that I'm saying right now in 10 years could possibly be seen as something so uncontrollably unreal that you need to lose your livelihood over. So how do you fight back? The only way to fight back is to ignore them. That's it. Ignore them or mock them. That's the only way. I wish it was, I wish we could be human beings, have a logical conversation, talk to each other one-on-one like human beings are supposed to do, adults especially. But no, we're no longer that way. Not with online, not with this whole generation of people online who feel like they're virtually invisible and feel like they have superpowers to destroy people's livelihoods, their careers, their family life. They don't care, whatever means necessary, in order for them to feel significant. Even if that significant feeling is a fleeting feeling and only lasts for minutes. So ignore them or mock them. That's why memes are so huge. But those are the only options. I wish there was reconciliation, forgiveness. But you can't do that with an abuser. You can't do that with a narcissist. And the entire people online are narcissists. I mean, look at yourself. You're starting a podcast. It's a narcissistic, abusive relationship. They don't care about you, Joe. And they don't care about you. So when people try to cancel you, try to get rid of you, take clips out of context, take pictures out of context, call your job, the only way to fight back is to ignore. The minute you apologize is the minute you submit to an abusive relationship that will never end until they've taken everything. But let me know your thoughts on that, because I think it's so unhealthy, and I don't think there's any way we can come back from a lot of this kind of process. The fact that this is such a phenomenon, the fact that people feel like they have the capacity to do this, even though they don't know anything about them. All these people that are trying to get rid of him have never listened to his podcast. Let me know your thoughts on this, because I'm genuinely curious. Let's go to the next news story of the day, because, God, you don't want to hear me ranting on and on about Joe Rogan. Next story. All right. Some of this stuff is just never going to end in life. Need to fix my screen. I apologize. James Carville. Carville. He's an old goody but the baddie. James Carville says, I want to punch the piece of SHIT unvaccinated people in the face. I just want to punch you in your gosh darn face. He said this last week, saying anyone without a vaccine was a piece of blank, and then he wanted to punch him in the face. On Thursday in Politics War Room with James Carville and Al Hunt. James Carville and Hunt took a listener question on why the President Biden should not pass a bill that bars unvaccinated citizens from interstate travel. This guy doesn't give a crap about you, and empathy is gone. That's why we were talking about Joe Rogan. We're talking about the mob. They don't care. There's no empathy in the mob. There's no empathy in the way some of these leftists think. I mean, as we continue down the COVID rabbit hole, because we need to remember there is an entire population. Okay, just today, New Jersey ended mask mandate for kids in schools. I'm not making a political statement. It doesn't work, does it not? I'm not talking about that. I'm just saying these mandates are ending. These mandates are coming to a close. But we have people like this guy, James Carville, who hate unvaccinated people. And I know personally lots of people that are not ready to take the masks off. They've created an entire culture of us versus them. We're the good guys, you're the bad guys. And so once we get rid of these mandates, you're going to have this whole shift of people not knowing who they are anymore, not knowing how to act anymore, not knowing James Carville doesn't know who he's going to be mad at. We have people like Stacey Abrams asking kids to cover their faces so she could go maskless. Georgia Democrat Stacey Abrams, who recently appeared maskless among dozens of masked up children during a visit of a Georgia elementary school, did so on the condition that everyone around her wore a face covering, including children, her campaign said. Right. Can't just be like Gavin Newsom, who I was gracious enough to take my face mask off for the picture, or Garcetti's. When I take my face mask off, I hold my breath. And I think you need to be wary of this. You need to be cognizant of this. You need to think through this, is that we have an entire group of people in the world still today, when these mandates slowly fade away, that will still have this feeling of righteousness to dictate how you should live. Governors are taking away mask mandate. And we still have people that think this is insane. Why are we doing this? And you need to be cognizant of how to deal with these people. A lot of them have a mental disorder that we could talk about. A lot of them have they're struggling with that social anxiety of coming back out in the world and just being around people, being closer than 6 feet apart. There's an entire group of these people. And then we also have people like Stacey Abrams, who are like, I'll walk around, but you better be freaking wearing a mask. I'm not going to wear a mask. I am Stacey Abrams. I have to take a picture with my mask off for the picture. I'm Stacey. People want to see my face. I have power. I'm walking around. I'm bringing about social change. Or you're like James Carville, where you're like, I want to destroy you if you're not like me. I want to take you down. I want to punch you in the face. This is insane rhetoric that's celebrated. This isn't seen as like crazy or fringe. He has friends that think it's okay to walk up and punch an unvaccinated person in the face. How are you going to respond to, in 5-6 years, when there are still people walking around talking about masks, when the mask mandates are fading? Please let me know your thoughts. I know people are like so against us as a country, divorcing or splitting up, but we have people that want to destroy people for holding views of what they hold. They want to take away your job. They want to take away your freedoms. They want to take away your livelihood, your career, whatever. They want you to just vanish from online. And then we have people like James who are okay with physically hurting someone because of their choice that maybe their doctor recommended them to take. I don't know. That sounds crazy to me, doesn't it? Sound crazy to you? Let me know your thoughts on this. I appreciate you guys. Next story. I just think that's so crazy. All right. And then we get to this story right here. Is American figure skater Vincent Chu? I don't know. I'm withdrawing from the Olympics after testing positive for COVID-19. I've isolated myself that the loneliness I felt in the last month has been crushing me at times. I think we need to listen to this video because let's put my headphones on, because I think there are people out there that have been isolating constantly in order to let's hear from the horse's mouth. Vincent, speak for us. Olympics, here we go.
I have tested positive for COVID-19, and unfortunately, I will have to withdraw from the individual event starting tomorrow. It seems pretty unreal that of all the people, it would happen to myself. And that's not just because I'm still processing this turn of events, but also because I have been doing everything in my power to stay free of COVID since the start of the pandemic. I've taken all the precautions I can. I've isolated myself so much that the loneliness I felt in the last month or two has been crushing at times. The enormity of the situation, the pain of it all is pretty insane.
I genuinely feel bad for this guy. I mean, he's uprooted his whole life, gone out to the Olympics in China. That's a whole other topic we could talk about. But he feels like, why should I have COVID? I've done everything right. I follow the rules. I've done everything you've asked me to do, and yet I still get COVID because people are forgetting that this is, after all, a freaking virus. And this guy now cannot compete because he tested positive. I mean, is he sick? Let me know your thoughts on these athletes who are testing. There are lots of athletes who are like losing out on. They've gone out to China. They followed all the rules. They're isolating and they're going in their little cubicles. They're eating, and yet they're still testing positive for COVID. But this guy is like looks completely fine. So, but he's not allowed to compete. We're still in this weird world where we're constantly testing each other all the time. Let me know your thoughts on this, because I don't know. And then we get to this. This really, really irks me. All last week we had Nancy Pelosi telling the athletes to shut their mouths so they don't get in trouble with the Chinese delegates. So they don't get in trouble with the Chinese government. We had all last week. She did it twice. First time wasn't enough. Second time, do it again. Now we have Jen Psaki being asked this question. What's the White House's stance on this whole matter? Let's listen.
On the Olympics, does the White House agree with Speaker Nancy Pelosi that American athletes shouldn't speak out against Beijing for their own safety?
Well, I know we saw those comments, obviously. I think they were last correctly. The president's view is that, first, we support our athletes 100%. Yay. All athletes have the right to freely express themselves.
Come on, man.
And that is the case in Beijing at the Olympics. It is the case anywhere. They will make those choices as individuals. It's the responsibility of China to live up to its own obligations to maintain a safe environment for all athletes at these games. The world will be watching, but we leave it up to individuals. We certainly support the right to peaceful.
Psaki said, athletes have the right to freely express themselves in China. No, you don't. No, you don't. And only that, do you trust this government to have your back if you speak out on something or you say something, especially regarding Uyghur? You say anything? Because I don't. I wouldn't if I was an athlete. I wouldn't trust the U.S. government to have my back or to hold China accountable. We're still pulling people out of Afghanistan who we've left behind. The translator who helped Joe Biden escape, and last time he went out there, he just came back to the United States. Jen Psaki says, yeah, say whatever you want. Do whatever you want. Only idiot who doesn't read the news would actually go there and do that. Those of us that seen what's going on with freedom of speech, especially in China, and especially with Christians, Muslims, LGBTQ community, which is always ironic because, you know, the Democrats are always like pro-LGBTQ, and at the same time, they don't care about what other countries do to them at all. Because, you know, as Joe Biden says, it's a cultural difference. So if you just say that, you can just be as evil or crazy as you want because it's a cultural thing. I mean, I'm sorry, but it's not just a cultural thing. It's also just an evil thing. But but the White House says, hey, athletes, say whatever you want. Be free to say, be yourself. Be free to do whatever you want. China won't do anything, I don't think. And then you have Pelosi saying, don't say anything because I fear what the China government will do. Who are you going to believe? Jen Psaki, Joe Biden, Mr. Poopy Pants, or Pelosi? Let me know your thoughts on that. Because I wouldn't believe them. I would absolutely not believe them. I would never, ever put my life in this White House's. Okay. Then we get to this question. Jen Psaki has asked this question about the Canadian truckers and asked if we will investigate the conservatives who are supporting them. Investigate? Okay, let's listen.
This situation in the Canadian border in Ottawa, the truckers' protest, there does seem to be evidence that these truckers are getting support from conservative forces or right-wing forces in the U.S. Are you investigating that at all? Is there any kind of involvement of U.S. authorities in looking at those money flows going to these truckers, and are you concerned about it?
Well, I would say a couple of things. This doesn't answer your question, but I just want to get this out there too on this particular topic, and then I'll come around, I promise. We have been engaged since the outset. Well, some of it hopefully answers your question, I should say. Of the protests, there have been zero impacts to CBP operations, which is a question people have understandably been asking us. Some shipments were rerouted by our law enforcement partners to other points of entry due to road closures. Some shippers have had to reroute, but CBP has been in communication throughout to ensure shipments can be cleared and onto the normal routes. In terms of an assessment of any other engagement from here, we don't really have any update on that or any investigation to read out at this point.
Are you going to investigate conservative forces? Did you hear that? What? I mean, seriously, we're at the point now in this country where you're worried about conservatives giving money to a cause for people to have freedoms in the way they want to have and run their healthcare. We need to investigate this. We need to get down to it. We need the DOJ to get off their butt. We need the FBI to start investigating these people, these sickos, these sycophants, these people who are just pushing for the freedom, whether to get a vaccine or not. These people are sick. These people must be investigated. Maybe we could put these conservatives on some kind of list, maybe not allow them to fly or anything, like people like Elon Musk who supposedly gave money. This is insane. This kind of rhetoric is the kind of rhetoric that continues to push me into this idea that maybe national divorce isn't such a bad idea. Be investigated by holding a different opinion than yourself. Get rid of Rogan, start investigating these voices. These people are dissenting voices. What does this sound like to you? Does this sound like democracy? Or does this sound like freaking fascism? Because anybody with a brain can see this for what it is. Submit or else. I don't understand how anybody could be. We get an update what's going on in Ottawa right now. Ottawa right now, the mayor of Ottawa declares a state of emergency to the city due to ongoing protests. State of emergency. You have this going on right now. Judge bans honking in downtown Ottawa for at least 10 days. You're not allowed to honk. You're not allowed to express your opinion here. That is not welcome. Shut your mouth and do what we say. You don't have a voice. We don't care about your voice. We'll make it illegal. You see how these cops are going around taking the gasoline to help the truckers out, to keep them going. And now people are walking around with little gasoline, I'm blanking on the word, containers that aren't filled with gasoline at the moment as a protest. We have cops going around taking. That's why when I hear these things like back the blue, you don't back an entire people group. You don't back an entire organization, because that organization is filled, and people group is filled with all kinds of different perspectives and ideologies and thoughts. There are cops going around taking people's fuel in the middle of winter. I don't back those people. Do you? And say this isn't something very fascist in its nature is crazy, because it is. You want to protest? Oh, you want to do this? We'll ban you. We'll take you down. It's a state of emergency. Ergo, with the state of emergency, we can do whatever we please in order for you to be shut down, because people can't take the honking anymore. I know you're protesting freedoms and stuff like that, but the honking is getting a little out of hand. We're waiting for you just to leave, because people like you, unlike other protests who happened all summer long that was like destructive and destroyed homes and destroyed businesses and entire communities, that's different. We support that. We walk with that. We encourage protesting, but this kind of protesting goes against what the narrative is, goes against the ideology that's being passed down from the top, or whatever, being passed down together. I don't care. This ideology needs to be smashed out, whatever means necessary. Because this is not about health. This isn't about social justice. This doesn't fit the mold. These people are different. These are working class people. These are truckers. These are probably Trump supporters, white supremacists, whatever word they want to use, which all is untrue. No, this protest is about freedom, and freedom rings. All right, next story. All right. I think the story is actually really important. Story is really important to me for a lot of reasons, but the California DA warns that virtually all drugs on the streets are laced with freaking fentanyl. The DEA estimates that 40% of illegal pills on the street are laced with fentanyl. In Riverside County, the number of fentanyl deaths in the last 5 years have gone up 800%. This year, we expect to have well over 500 people die because of fentanyl poisoning. We have an entire generation of people that are drug addicts. Open air drug use is encouraged and seen as homeless instead of just calling it for what it is, because they don't want to have an actual conversation, an actual, what are we going to actually do to help these people, not just hurt them and enable them? But fentanyl is a killer, man. And fentanyl is extremely addictive. First time use, boom. We have thousands and thousands of people addicted to these drugs that are being poured across the border. It's not just good people looking for a job and they're in a war-torn country. It's also the cartel is taking over that place. But you know, the minute like anybody in politics start to pull on emotional strings and try to change the narrative, change the actual truth of what's going on to have you emotionally involved, these are just good people. Good people looking for a job, doing jobs that you don't want to do. Nobody wants to have a conversation about the drug epidemic in this country. Homeless people might not necessarily just be homeless. They might actually be doing drugs and open air use in the middle of streets everywhere in major cities in America. Nobody wants to have these tough conversations because they make people uncomfortable. You might actually have to address the issue. You might actually have to get your hands dirty and help someone. We have to shut down the border for this reason alone. The drugs that are pouring over. It's not just weed. It's not just It's stuff with laced fentanyl. What are you going to do about it? Do you even care? Do you care about the drug epidemic in this world? Do you care about all the thousands of people who are addicted to substances like this? Especially those that are homeless, that are walking, or, open air drug users in the middle of the street. Your kids are walking down. Do you care about this kind of stuff? Or are you just going to leave the cities? Because these DAs and these leftists, they don't care about you. They don't care about how uncomfortable you are. They're living just fine. And they want you to believe that you're wrong. This. Yo, Tiger Man, what's up? This right here. This Brian Stelter comment is borderline beautiful because it says a lot about him. And I want him to speak. How long is this? 2 minutes? Okay. I want this Brian Stelter video is everything. Let's listen.
I want to end the hour with a final thought, and I'm going to go a little bit rogue here, so bear with me, okay?
He's going rogue.
Jeff Zucker's departure was shocking to the staff of CNN. But CNN was not built by just CNN, not by only Ted Turner, and it was not led only by Jeff Zucker. CNN is so much bigger.
Don't you love his emotional voice?
Than any single individual. It is about teams and teams of people, thousands of individuals.
Millions.
Who make up CNN. This place is not perfect. It will never be perfect. We will always have flaws. We will always screw up. We will always have to run corrections. We will always have to keep working to make it better and better and better every single day. That is the goal. But the people who say we're lacking journalism,
because you are,
that we've become an all-talk channel,
not just CNN, all corporate media is all talk channel. It's all AOC is unmasked. Oh my God, let's have a 10-hour segment about it. Blah.
We've run off and we're all opinions all the time. That Jeff Zucker led us astray. Those people aren't watching CNN.
Brian, you're giving an opinion right now.
They're not watching CNN. They're watching complaints about CNN on other channels that don't know what they're talking about. That's the truth.
I'll have what she's
Let's put the map up on screen of bureaus around the world. CNN has more bureaus around the world than almost any other news organization on the planet.
Yeah, the more bureaus means the more credible you are.
That map covers the world. London and Moscow and Hong Kong and Beijing and Nairobi and all the rest. That's why one of the network's slogans is "Go there." On the day Jeff Zucker resigned,
Brian's going there with Brian Stelter.
CNN aired more than 135 reporter hits, 135 reporters in the U.S. and around the world. I'm talking about dozens of live shots.
Brian, that's amazing.
International correspondence in just one day. On the day Jeff Zucker resigned, CNN published more than 215 stories on the website, nearly 90 original videos. That's a hell of a lot of news. It's a hell of a lot of journalism. Do some of the anchors say provocative things? Yes. Do some of
Am I the best looking podcaster in the world? Yes.
those clips get played over and over again on other channels and mislead people about what CNN actually is? Yes.
Oh, Brian. You just don't get it, do you? You just don't get it. And I feel like I don't even need to explain myself on this one. But all corporate media is opinion pieces. They're TMZ for politicians. That's all they are. And you know it. Okay. All right. Last but not least, for my final hurrah is my final message today. Mr. Crybaby himself, Adam Kinzinger, a Republican. Let's listen to him because it's really telling.
Got to stand up and say that truly democracy is threatened. And that's not just, some line we're going to say because it sounds cool. Oh, democracy. No, it is actually truly under threat. And we are on the verge of legitimate political civil war discussion in this country, because I used to say that we'd never get there in this country. Now I look and say we can't even talk to each other anymore. And one party believes nothing but lies.
Because of you and people like you who say that, these people believe nothing but lies. They're living in an altered reality. There's a second reality. These people are so far gone, I can't even have a conversation with you. We're talking about wars. These people are, what did you say at the beginning?
Got to stand up and say that truly democracy is threatened. And that's
Democracy is threatened. Your well-being is threatened. America is completely threatened. These people need to be stopped. These people all need to be in jail. Maybe we could put them on a no-fly list. Maybe we could put them in a little camp or something like that and slap like an unvaccinated camp. Something. We need to get these people out of our way. We need to get these people, they need to bend the knee. The people like these Joe Rogans who think they can just go against the narrative, go against a different ideology, go against the experts or whatever you want to call them. People are feeling this way, Adam, because of people like you and your rhetoric, the way you act towards us, those who have a dissenting opinion or a different opinion or want to live a different way of life. Or I feel like I'm Chris Farley. I don't necessarily wear deodorant on the weekends. I bathe occasionally. But this is the problem. You don't want to have a conversation. You don't want to go and have a conversation and be at a stalemate. You don't want to have a discussion and us to walk away with the same opinions, but be okay with those different opinions. You see everything as a learning opportunity. If you don't submit and come to a conclusion, the same conclusion I have, or agree to the same terms, or call me this, or look at me this way, or view the world this way, or accept these experts this way, or whatever. If you don't believe what I believe, you are promoting a civil war. People like Adam Kinzinger, that people feel the way they do. I always invite people of dissenting, wrong opinion, or whatever, wrong think on my show. Adam, you're the problem. But my encouragement to you is this. Don't be like Adam Kinzinger. Don't call people with different opinions than yourself the other. Don't try to put them in a category as if, oh, you believe this, therefore that means you look and act like this way and you vote this way, and put people in these little boxes that make us feel uncomfortable on the inside. Oh, you think this way? I'm going to put you in this box because then I know how to categorize you. There I know how to talk to you. There I know how to look at you. Instead, look at people, as individuals. As us, we're walking around, we're trying to figure this world out. We're trying to figure who we are. Because it's important for us to walk around with open eyes and ask questions. That's why people like Joe Rogan that ask questions and don't assume that they're experts on everything. Oh, well, I follow what this person says, therefore I'm an expert. And you're not. You have a different opinion than me. Therefore, you're wrong, and I need to teach you. Because this is a learning moment. This is a teachable moment. If it's not teachable and you don't agree with me, I'm going to make you submit. I'm going to destroy your whole family and take out your whole family and your livelihood and the way you live. Don't be like Adam. Don't make people submit your opinions. Just have a conversation. Learn to be wrong occasionally. Learn to say, you know what? I got that wrong. But when I say that, I'm not talking to the woke. I'm not talking to the online mob who want to destroy. They don't care about reconciliation. They don't care about forgiveness. And they don't care about your livelihood or your family or anything. Never submit to the mob. The only way you can treat the mob online is through mockery or ignoring them. Because as I've said over and over again, the relationship with the mob isn't like what Joe Rogan thinks, that if you just apologize, they'll just go away and they'll understand because they're freaking adults with a mind. No, these people don't care. It's an abusive relationship. And the minute you apologize, the minute they can smell blood in the water and they continue to pour it on. That's why they haven't stopped. And they won't stop until he's gone, because they've hated him since the day one, and they'll hate you as well. If you have a different opinion, a dissenting opinion that's other than the mob itself, they will take you down. They will laugh the whole way because they themselves don't even care about themselves. But don't be like them. Learn to have empathy towards one another. Learn to look at each other in the eyes and be okay with somebody with a different opinion, because God, that is why America is so great. Not because we're all living the same lie together, not because we're all living the same truth. All of us have different truths. All of us have different perspectives, and that's why it's so beautiful. It's a freaking melting pot, remember? Thanks, guys, for joining me. I appreciate you guys so much. I hope you guys have a freaking fantastic rest of your day. It means so much to me. Hang out with me. Share this on all social media platforms. I'd greatly freaking appreciate it. If you want to support me, you go to buymeacoffee.com/Jericho Shea Show. The link is in the description below. I appreciate all of you guys that do that. It's your way of saying screw you to the corporate media and wanting for me to build this out to make it even better than it ever has before. But I appreciate you guys so much. And if I say anything wrong, I hope you forgive me like a freaking adult, and don't be like the woke mob or the mob that wants to destroy and take you down, because that's all they care about. Have a great day, and as always, I'll catch you on the next episode of The Derek O'Shea Show.